In the center of the giant alien court, silence filled the air. Hundreds of tall alien nobles sat high above, watching with cold eyes. They looked down on a young alien woman named Valari. Her body was weak, her purple skin covered in dust, and her golden hair touched the floor as she crawled. She had no clothes, only a torn white cloth wrapped around her. Her knees bled, her arms shook, but no one helped her. Guards with metal armor stood at both sides. Their weapons were ready. Their eyes showed no mercy. Valari had been accused of betrayal. The Emperor's voice had thundered just moments ago. Let the traitor crawl to the court of judgment. Now she crawled in shame. The nobles whispered cruel things. She deserves it. She dared to question the Emperor. She's a disgrace. But Valari was not guilty. She knew it. Deep inside, she also knew someone powerful had lied about her, but she had no proof, no voice, no one to stand for her. Her father had been a respected leader. He was killed in an accident 1 year ago. After that, everything changed. Valari had tried to speak out, but they silenced her, and now they made her crawl like an animal. Tears ran down her cheeks as she kept moving forward. Suddenly, kaboom-ass, the massive doors of the court opened. Everyone turned. A figure walked in. Not an alien, not a noble, a human. The aliens hated humans. After the old war, humans were banned from the royal court. But here, he was a tall man in dark armor, wearing the earth symbol on his chest. His name was Reed. The guards moved to stop him, but he raised his hand. "Don't," he said calmly. His voice was deep and firm, strange but powerful. The guards hesitated. No one had ever seen a human walk so boldly in the Empire's court. Reed's eyes moved across the room till he saw her. Valari. She was now just a few steps away from the Emperor's throne, still crawling, still crying. Her body was shaking, but she didn't stop. Reed's jaw tightened. He stepped forward. The nobles gasped. "Stop him," one shouted. "He's breaking the law." But Reed ignored them. He walked to the middle of the court like he didn't hear a single voice. When he reached Valari, he knelt down. Gently, he spoke enough. "You don't deserve this." Valari looked up, confused. No one had spoken kindly to her in weeks. She blinked. "Who are you?" she asked. "I'm here for you," Reed said. "Okay?" And then, without waiting, he lifted her up into his arms. Gasps filled the court. He touched her. "He's a human. Arrest him." Guards raised their weapons. The Emperor stood. His eyes blazed with anger. "Put her down." "Okay." But Reed didn't move. He held Valari close, covering her with his cloak. "I will not let her suffer for your lies," he said. "Lies?" The Emperor roared. "You dare accuse this court?" "I have orders," Reed replied coldly. "From Earth and from justice." Valari's heart pounded. Who was this man? Why would a human help her? What did he mean by orders? Guards began to close in. "Kill him." Someone yelled. Reed looked around. "I suggest you don't," he warned. "If I don't report back in 1 hour, Earth will know. And they won't stay quiet." The room fell silent again. Everyone stared at him. Valari couldn't understand what was happening, but she felt something strange in her heart, a spark of hope. Reed looked down at her. "You're not alone anymore," he whispered. And with that, he turned and walked out of the court. No one dared to stop him. Behind them, nobles whispered, some in fear, some in anger. The Emperor's hand shook with rage, but he said nothing. Valari leaned her head against Reed's chest. For the first time in a long time, she felt safe. She didn't know who this human was. She didn't know why he came, but she knew one thing. Her story was not over. It was just beginning. Reed held Valari in his arms as he walked through the middle of the alien court. Her body was light, weak, and trembling. He wrapped his dark cloak around her to protect her from the cold stares. The nobles shouted in anger. The guards raised their weapons, but Reed didn't stop. Everyone stared at him, shocked. A human had entered their sacred court. A human had touched the traitor, and worse, he had defied the emperor. From the high golden throne, the emperor stood. His long robe touched the floor. His eyes glowed red with fury. Human, stop this madness. Put her down. The emperor roared, his voice shaking the entire chamber. Reed turned slightly, his face calm. No, just one word, but it hit the court like thunder. The emperor clenched his fist. Ha! You are breaking every law in this empire. You will be punished for this insult. Reed met his gaze. Then do it. Kill me now. But no, this if I don't report back, Earth will come looking, and they will ask. Why? The court went silent. No one dared to breathe. Even the guards hesitated. Valari looked up at Reed, confused and scared. She had no idea who this human really was. Why had he risked his life for her? What did he mean by report back? Her lips parted. You'll be killed, she whispered. Please, don't. Reed looked down at her with gentle eyes. Alive. Seen enough injustice in my life. I won't leave you to suffer. The emperor pointed at the guards. Seize him. Earth wants war. So be it. The guards stepped forward, weapons glowing with alien energy. Reed sighed and slowly placed Valari on her feet. She could barely stand, but she held onto his arm. He gently moved her behind him. I didn't want to fight, he said softly. Then, he reached for something hidden under his cloak, a small silver device. The emperor narrowed his eyes. What is that? Reed pressed the button. Suddenly, a blue light flashed in the room. A hologram appeared in the Aran Earth ambassador's face. By order of the Intergalactic Peace Treaty. The ambassador's voice echoed, any mistreatment of a royal citizen under false charges will be investigated. Any punishment without trial will be considered a war crime. The nobles gasped. The emperor's face twisted with rage. Lies. This woman is a traitor. Reed spoke firmly. Where's your proof? The emperor stuttered. She spread false messages, tried to destroy royal data. She asked for peace. Reed interrupted. I've read the reports. I've seen the messages you tried to erase. She only wanted to stop the war. Valari felt her heart pound. How did he know all this? T really come from Earth to help? Her? The guards looked confused now. Some lowered their weapons. The emperor shouted, You believe a human over your own emperor. One of the older nobles stood. If he speaks the truth, we must listen. Another nodded. She was never given a trial. That is against the law. The court was changing. Whispers turned into doubts. The emperor was losing control. Reed stepped back beside Valari. We're leaving, he said. No one leaves this court without my permission. The emperor screamed. Then, stop me, Reed said. The guards didn't move. Valari grabbed Reed's hand. Her legs were shaking, but she took a step forward. I am not a traitor, she said loudly. Her voice echoed across the room. I only wanted peace. My father died trying to stop this war. And you all turned your backs on the truth. Many nobles looked away, ashamed. Reed nodded. Let's go. Together, they walked out of the court. No one stopped them. As the giant doors closed behind them, Reed finally took a deep breath. Valari leaned on him, exhausted. Why did you come for me? She asked softly. He looked at her. Because you matter, and because I've lost people too. People who tried to do the right thing and paid the price. Valari was quiet for a moment. Then she said, You could have died. I still might, Reed said, almost smiling. But it was worth it. Behind them, The Empire shook with confusion. Questions filled the court. Some believed Valari. Some still called her a traitor. But the truth had begun to rise, and Reed had lit the spark. The cold night air brushed against Valari's face as she and Reed walked through the dark alleyways of the alien city. Tall metal buildings surrounded them, and the stars above looked distant and cold. Valari held Reed's arm tightly. Her body still ached from crawling through the court, but her heart felt stronger now. She was no longer alone. They found an empty warehouse near the edge of the city. Reed checked every corner before letting her sit on a pile of old cloth. He handed her a small water pack. "Drink. You need your strength," he said softly. Valari took a sip, then looked at him. "Who are you really, Red? Why did you come all the way from Earth for me?" Reed looked away for a moment, then sat down across from her. His face was serious, but his voice was calm. "I came because of a message and a name." Valari's eyes narrowed. "A name." Reed pulled a small metal device from his belt. It projected a hologram old recording. The image showed Valari's father, standing tall and proud, with his hand on a younger Valari's shoulder. She gasped, "That's my father. That's me." This was before everything changed. Reed nodded. This recording was hidden deep in Earth's peace archive, buried for years. Someone didn't want it to be found. The message played. "This is High Counselor Varn of the Valoran Empire. If anything happens to me, my daughter Valari holds the truth. She must be protected. She is the last hope for peace between our worlds." The message ended. Silence filled the room. Valari's hands trembled. I didn't know. He never told me." Reed looked at her gently. He couldn't. He was being watched. "Your father tried to stop the war, but powerful people from both sides wanted the fighting to continue. They killed him. And then came for you." Valari felt tears in her eyes. "I thought I was just in the way. I thought no one cared." "They tried to make you feel like that," Reed said. "It's how they control people. But your father believed in you. And now, so do I." She looked at him, surprised by the warmth in his words. "But why did Earth help hide the message?" he asked. Reed's face turned dark. "Not all humans want peace, either. Some high officials profit from war. They didn't want a voice like yours to be heard." Valari shook her head. "So I was never a traitor." "No," Reed said firmly. "You were a threat to their lives." He stood and began to pace. "There's something else. Your DNA. It carries a code, a key. That's why they fear you." Valari's eyes widened. "What kind of code?" "I don't know yet. But the Earth files say it can unlock a sealed memory bank one that contains the full story of who started the war and why." Valari's heart pounded. "Where is it?" Reed looked her in the eyes. "The vault is hidden in the ruins of the old Alliance base. We need to go there. But it's deep in no man's land outside, both human and alien control." She nodded. "Then that's where we go." Reed gave a small smile. "You're brave." Valari smiled back, though her eyes still held pain. "I've spent too long being afraid. I want the truth. Not just for me, but for everyone who was lied to." Suddenly, a sound came from outside. Reed quickly shut off the hologram and pulled out his weapon. He motioned for Valari to stay low. Footsteps. Quiet, but fast. Then a voice, a deep, rough one. "Give us the girl. Human or die." Reed stepped forward, his gun ready. 3 figures entered, masked soldiers in black armor. Not Empire guards, not Earth soldiers, mercenaries. Valari's heart raced. "They found us." One of the mercenaries raised a blaster. "The bounty on her is high. We don't care about your little speech. Just hand her over." Reed didn't move. "Not happening." The mercenary laughed. "Then you both die." He fired. Reed rolled to the side, returning fire. The warehouse lit up with blue energy blasts. Valari hid behind the metal wall, covering her ears. Reed moved fast, his training sharp. He shot one mercenary in the chest. Another ran behind a cover. Valari saw a weapon near her, a small stun rod. She picked it up. Her hands shook. Could she fight? Second mercenary charged toward Reed, but Valari stepped forward and slammed the rod into the man's leg. Electricity cracked through his body, and he collapsed. Reed looked at her, surprised. Nice hit. The third mercenary ran away. Reed quickly blocked the door and turned back to Valari. "So send more." "We have to leave," she said. "No," he replied. "We need to move now." As they stepped back into the cold night, Valari looked up at the stars. Her past was no longer a mystery. Now she had a mission, and she was ready to face it. The sky above was dark, and the city lights behind them slowly faded. Reed and Valari moved quickly through the outer zone. They didn't speak much. Both of them were thinking about the ambush in the warehouse. Someone powerful still wanted Valari dead. And now they were out in the open. "We can't go through the main roads," Reed said. "They'll find us easily." "Where then?" Valari asked. Reed looked around, then pointed at a broken wall covered in wires and old signs. "Through there, the underground." Valari's eyes widened. "That place is dangerous." "Yes," Reed said, "but it's the only way to reach the old Alliance base without being caught." They crawled through the narrow space. Dust filled the air, and strange smells followed. On the other side was a long stairway leading down into the deep tunnels beneath the city, the underground world. Long ago, these tunnels were built as shelters during the war. Now they were home to outcast people who had no place above. Thieves, broken soldiers, rebels, and forgotten ones. V-L-A-R. I felt a chill. She had never been here before. She always lived in the high towers of the capital. This world was something new and terrifying. As they walked deeper, voices echoed through the tunnel walls. Shadowy figures watched them from dark corners. A group of rough-looking aliens blocked their path. One stepped forward. He was tall, with green skin and a long scar across his face. "New faces," he growled. "We don't like strangers down here." Reed didn't flinch. "We're not here for trouble. We just need to pass through." The alien laughed. "Nothing's free here, human, especially not for someone carrying her." Valari's stomach turned. She knew they recognized her. "She's worth a fortune," another one whispered. The leader raised his hand. "Give us the girl. You can leave." Reed stepped in front of Valari. "No." The air turned cold. Weapons clicked. Then a new voice spoke from the shadows. "Let them pass." Everyone turned. An old woman walked into the light. She was short and wore a dark hood, her eyes glowing gold. The leader frowned. "This is our part of the tunnel, Elder Mari." She ignored him and faced Reed and Valari. "I know who you are," she said to Valari. "I watched your father speak to our people many years ago. He wanted peace, but no one listened. And now his daughter walks the same path." Valari's eyes filled with tears. "You knew him?" Mari nodded. "I did. He came here once. Not all rebels are evil, child. Some only want justice." Reed lowered his weapon. "Can you help us reach the Alliance ruins?" The old woman thought. "For a moment, there's a way, but it goes through the deep tunnels. Even I haven't walked that path in years." "We'll take the risk," Reed said. Mari turned to the gang. "Let them go. They carry a light the Empire fears." The gang stepped aside, grumbling. No one dared challenge Elder Mari. She gave them a map and a small, glowing stone. "This will guide you, but beware the deep tunnels are full of ghosts." "Ghosts?" Valari asked. Old machines, broken defense systems. Some say they still move and attack anything living. Valari swallowed hard. Reed thanked the elder and led Valari deeper into the tunnels. The path grew darker. Water dripped from the ceiling. Strange sounds echoed in the distant mechanical clanks, whispers, and the soft buzz of old tech. Valari walked close to Reed. "What if we don't make it?" "We will," he said. "We have to." Suddenly, the floor beneath them cracked. Boom. Where Lari screamed as they fell through the ground. They landed hard in a hidden, chambered metal walls, blinking red lights and dust everywhere. Reed stood up, holding his side. "You okay?" Valari nodded slowly. "Where are we?" Reed looked around. "We just found something. Old." In the center of the chamber was a giant locked door. Symbols from both Earth and the alien empire were carved into it. Valari stepped forward, drawn to it. Fingers touched the center symbol and the door made a sound. Click. Blue lights flickered across the wall. Reed's eyes widened. "It's reacting to your DNA. The sealed vault her father mentioned. It was here." Valari turned to him. "We found it." But suddenly, a robotic voice spoke. "Unauthorized. Entry detected. Security mode activated." The lights turned red. Doors opened on both sides. Metal machines with red eyes rolled out. Old security bots. Still alive, Reed pulled out his weapon. Valari's hands shook. They weren't safe yet, but they were close to the truth. Red lights flashed in the dark chamber. Alarms screamed through the tunnels as metal security bots rolled out from both sides. Their glowing red eyes locked onto Reed and Valari. The air grew tense. Dust floated around them, and every small sound echoed like thunder. Valari froze. Her heart pounded like a drum. She had never seen these machines before. Their sharp arms, built for attack, glimmered in the red light. Unauthorized entry. One bot repeated in a cold, metallic voice. "Eliminate intruders." Reed pulled out his blaster and stepped in front of Valari. "Stay behind me." The first bot charged. Zap. Reed fired, hitting its chest. Sparks flew, but the machine didn't stop. "Too old," he said quickly. "There. Strong, but slow." The bot swung a metal arm at him. Reed ducked, rolled to the side, and shot again, this time at the bot's leg. The machine fell with a loud crash. Two more bots moved in. Reed kept firing, but they were getting closer. Valari looked around. The walls were covered in control panels and wires. She spotted a glowing symbol, the same symbol from her father's recordings. She ran to it, her fear replaced by something stronger purpose. "Valari, wait," Reed shouted. She placed her hand on the glowing mark. Suddenly, the room shook. The bots stopped. A soft, female voice filled the chamber. "DNA match confirmed. Welcome, Valarido of Counselor Varn." The red lights turned blue. The machines powered down, their eyes dimming. Reed looked around, breathing heavily. "I activated the system," Valari said, confused but relieved. The large metal door in the back of the chamber opened slowly with a deep rumble. Inside was a small room, clean, touched by time. In the center was a round table, glowing with light. Above it floated a memory crystal. Valari stepped closer. The crystal lit up and projected a recording. Her father appeared, his voice soft but serious. "If you are hearing this, my daughter, then I am gone. They came for me, just as I feared. I discovered something terrible, something both the Empire and Earth wanted to hide. The war was never an accident. It was started by powerful leaders from both sides, okay? They needed a reason to build weapons, to gain control, to rule through fear. You, Valari, you are proof that peace is possible. Your blood contains a code created by both human and alien science. You are living proof off the Unity project. They will try to erase you, but you must survive. Find someone you can trust. Share the truth. The recording faded. Valari stood still. Her hands were shaking. Her father's voice, his words. It was all too much. Reed placed a hand on her shoulder. This is why they hunted you. You're the key to ending it all. Tears fell down her cheeks. He knew they would kill him, and still he trusted me. Reed nodded. Ow. We must share this with the galaxy. Valari looked at him, then at the crystal. We copy the file. We take it back. Reed pulled out a data chip and transferred the message. As soon as the download finished, the chamber lights began to flicker. System powered low, the voice said. Structural collapse detected. Reed's eyes widened. The place is falling apart. Let's move. They ran back into the tunnel, just as parts of the ceiling began to crash down. Dust filled the air. Valari coughed, covering her mouth with her sleeve. Reed grabbed her hand and pulled her through the dark. They barely made it back to the upper level of the underground. Elder Mari was waiting for them near the exit. You're alive? She said with a small smile. Valari showed her the crystal. We found the truth. My father's voice, his proof. Mari's eyes softened. Then, your journey is not over. It's just beginning. But they'll come after us, Valari said. More mercenaries. The Empire, maybe even Earth. Reed nodded. Let them come. Now we have the truth. And we're not alone anymore. Mari handed Valari a small badge. Okay, go to the Rebel Network. Show them this. They'll believe you. Many have waited for hope. Valari took the badge and closed her fingers around it. She looked at Reed. Will you stay with me? He smiled until the end. Together, they stepped out of the underground. The night was quiet. But their mission had changed. They weren't just running anymore. They were ready to fight for the truth. The cold wind hit their faces as Reed and Valari climbed out of the underground. The city above was quiet, but danger still filled the air. Okay. Valari held the memory crystal close to her chest. Code in her mind. Truth was now in her hands, but the hardest part was still ahead. We need to leave this city, Reed said, checking the small map Elder Mari had given him. The Rebel Network is based in the Western Wastes. We'll be safe there. Valari nodded. Let's go before they find us. They traveled by night, hiding by day. Across broken roads, silent towns, and old ruins, they moved like shadows. After 2 days, they reached a hidden outpost deep in the desert. The rebels were waiting at first. The guards didn't trust them. Guns were raised. Questions shouted. But when Valari showed the badge from Elder Mari, everything changed. They were taken to a tent where an old rebel leader named Commander Bryn waited. He had one arm, a face full of scars, and eyes that showed years of pain. You're the girl with the code, Bryn said, staring at Valari. The daughter of Varn. Valari nodded. I have his message. Proves everything. Reed added. The war was started on purpose. The message names those involved. Bryn leaned back. Good, but truth is dangerous. The people named in that recording, ... They will do anything to stop it. Valari looked down. We need to share it with the galaxy. Bryn agreed. We can help. We have a transmitter, strong enough to send a message to every planet. But once we do it, they'll strike, fast and hard. We're ready, Reed said. Bryn gave a short smile. You're brave, human. But many are. Okay. That night, as the rebels prepared the signal, Reed sat alone by the fire. Valari walked over, her hair glowing softly in the moonlight. You're quiet, she said. I'm thinking, he replied. About what? Reed stared into the flames. About someone I once trusted. Okay. Man who trained me, taught me everything. His name was General Corrin. Valari tilted her head. He's important. He's powerful. Reed said, and I just remembered. He was the one who blocked the peace treaty years ago. He said aliens couldn't be trusted. Valari's eyes narrowed. You think he's one of them? Reed nodded slowly. I think he's the human who betrayed your father. Before Valari could reply, one of the rebels ran up to them. Commander, we're receiving a call from Earth Command right there, demanding we hand over the girl. Bryn stepped outside the tent. The message played on the large screen. General Corrin's face appeared cold, clean, and full of pride. This is General Corrin. You are sheltering a dangerous traitor. Return her to us now, or we will send forces to destroy your base. Okay. Valari stepped forward. Why are you doing this? My father trusted you. Corrin's eyes shifted. For a moment, silence. Then he spoke again. Your father was a fool. Peace would have made us weak. War made us powerful. I ended the talks, and I ended him. Everyone gasped. Corrin smiled. Darkly, that human beside you. He was my best student. And now, he stands with a traitor. Pity. The message ended. Valari looked at Reed. His face was frozen. You trusted him? She said softly. He raised me like a son, Reed whispered. I didn't see the monster behind the medals. Commander Bryn spoke quickly. We don't. Halftime, we broadcast the message now, before he shuts us down. Valari stepped to the transmitter. She placed the memory crystal into the reader. A bright light filled the room. Then her father's voice echoed across the galaxy. This war was a lie. Peace was possible. My daughter, Valari, carries the truth. The message ended. Silence. Then the system beeped. Transmission sent. Reed looked at Valari. It's done. Before they could breathe, alarms rang. Incoming ships. A rebel shouted. Multiple fighters approaching. They're here, Bryn growled. He's coming to erase us. Reed grabbed his weapon. We fight. Valari stood tall. We don't hide anymore. Outside, lights filled the night sky. Explosions echoed in the distance. The final battle had begun, not just for their lives, but for the truth. The galaxy had heard the message. Now, they would decide what to believe, and Valari was ready to face whatever came next. The sun was rising over the ruined battlefield. Smoke still floated in the air. The ground was covered in broken machines and burned metal. The rebel base had been attacked, but it was not destroyed. Valari stood on a hilltop, looking over the damage. Her face was tired, but her eyes were full of strength. The truth had been sent to every planet, every station, every leader. The war was now exposed for what it really was, lie, created by power-hungry rulers. Reed walked up beside her, holding his injured shoulder. They tried everything to stop us, he said. But the truth survived. Valari gave a small nod. Now we need to finish what we started. Are you ready to go back to the Empire's court? Reed asked. Yes, she replied, without fear. This time, I won't crawl. This time, I will speak. 2 days later, the Imperial Court opened its gates again. But things were different now. Crowds had gathered outside. Reporters, citizens, rebels, and even humans. Everyone wanted to hear what Valari had to say. The Emperor sat on his golden throne, trying to look calm, but his hands shook. The message had reached even the highest parts of power. Valari entered. Through the front doors, not crawling, not broken, but standing tall in a dark royal cloak. Reed walked beside her, his uniform clean, his head high. The court fell silent. Valari stepped forward, her voice strong. I was once dragged across this floor in shame. Today, I return with truth. The Emperor stood. You spread lies. Your father betrayed this court. You were part of his plan. Valari raised a hand and a hologram lit up above her. It was the same memory crystal. Her father's face appeared again, his voice echoing through the hall. This war was planned. The Empire and Earth both used fear to gain power. Peace was possible, but they silenced it. My daughter carries our hope. Gasps filled the room. Valari continued. My father's message is now public. The galaxy knows. People are waking up. The Emperor's face turned red with anger. You dare speak this in my court? I speak it because you cannot hide anymore, she said. You let innocent people die. You blamed me to protect yourself. One of the nobles stood. Do you deny this message, Your Majesty? Another followed. We deserve answers. The Emperor shouted. Silence. But no one listened. Reed stepped forward. Earth's General Corrin has been arrested. He confessed to blocking the peace treaty and killing Councillor Varn. Valari took a deep breath. Now I ask this court, will you still follow a leader who rules by fear, or will you choose truth? The court was quiet for a long moment. Then the oldest noble stood. I vote to remove the Emperor. Another rose. Second, that. One by one, more nobles stood. The Emperor screamed, traitors. All of you. Guards stepped forward not to protect him, but to take him away. Valari watched as the man who had ruined her life was dragged out of the court. She felt no hate, only peace. Commander Bren stepped into the hall, carrying the flag of the new Peace Alliance. He spoke to the court. A new council will be formed, one with members from both Earth and the Empire. A council led by voices like Valeri's, voices that choose peace. The crowd outside cheered as the news was shared. Later, as the sun set, Valari stood on the court balcony with Reed beside her. You did it, Reed said quietly. You changed everything. Valari smiled. We did it. Together. What now? He asked. We rebuild, she said. We teach truth. We protect it. He looked at her with pride. Your father would be proud. She nodded. And I'm proud of you. You stood with me when no one else did. They looked out at the stars, above bright and endless. Two worlds. One future. And so, the girl who was once forced to crawl, now stood tall before the galaxy. Not as a traitor, not as a prisoner.